All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm Teacher Nivs. It's Dr. Joe's reading writing class. Today is March 20th, 2025. If you can hear me clearly, can I get a 48 in the chat? If you can hear me clearly, can I get a 48 in the chat? Okay. Apparently, nobody can hear me clearly. Like, not a single person. It's Dictator Niv, not Teacher Niv. Well, I can't put Dictator Niv. Actually, maybe I can. Wonder. Let me just put it in brackets. Okay. Let us get started. Let's get started with homework review. Dun dun dun. Can I get a volunteer? Start with Xiaoya.
After the movie's disappointing ending, Sarah's blank made her realize that not all films lived up to their hype. Disillusionment.
Awesome. Okay, who wants to do the next one? What is going on here? Let's get Derek. Derek, can you do number two?
Um, do I say the answer as I read it?
Yep. Or you could read it and then say
His
the answer. It's up to you.
his blank view on life prevented him from taking any action, believing nothing could change his situation. Fatalistic.
Fatalistic. Uh, Jeffrey.
Okay, the politicians blank during the debate won him the support of many voters. I mean maybe anarchic, probably not. Eloquence? Eloquence, I think.
Eloquence. Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's probably anarchic actually, because people like anarchic people.
Well, it wouldn't make sense grammatically in this sentence, but yeah, you could say a politician's anarchy or anarchic statements. Yeah, yeah. Okay, also you skipped a couple. This one. Can I get James? James, can you do this one?
The blank behavior of the protester caused the police to struggle with maintaining control of the crowd. I think it's um mm, anarchic, or I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, anarchic. Nice. Annabelle, can you do this one?
Despite his best efforts, a morose expression remained on his face as he struggled to cope with the loss.
Awesome. Can I get Ryan? Can you do this one?
The student's blank grew after discovering that the educational system was not as fair as he had hoped. Disillusionment.
Nice. Okay. This is getting too big. Can I get Russell? Russell, next one.
Her blank attitude about the team's chances of winning left the coach frustrated and discouraged. Fatalistic.
Fatalistic. Nice. Next one. Jaya, back to the top.
In the absence of leadership, the group descended into blank chaos, with everybody doing what they wanted. Anarchic.
Nice. This is what Jeffrey wants, anarchic chaos.
No, that's what like the communist fascist guy wants. That I personally identifies as a communist. I don't know why. I think his name is like Russell or something. I don't
What?
support communism or fascism.
What? How
I
dare you?
okay, so
Coward.
um okay, I don't this is very I'll just add the last two in. Okay, homework review. Done. Any questions? Anyone? No? Didn't think so. All right, let's get started. Flowers for Algernon. Who has read this book before?
Not me.
All the boomers. Oh, never
No.
mind. Ryan
Oh
read
my.
it. Never mind. I take that
You...
back.
Okay, Ryan read it. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Ryan, would you like to read the synopsis here?
Winner of both the Hugo and Nebula Awards, the powerful classic story about a man who received an operation that turns him into a genius and introduces him to heartache. Charlie Gordon is about to embark upon an unprecedented journey. Born with an unusually low IQ, he has been chosen as the perfect subject for an experimental surgery that researchers hope will increase his intelligence, a procedure that has already been highly successful when tested on a lab mouse named Algernon. As the treatment takes effect, Charlie's intelligence expands until it
It's
surpasses
me or is it I can't hear him?
It's just you. Sorry, Ryan, continue.
that of the doctors who engineered his metamorphosis. The experiment appears to be a scientific breakthrough of paramount importance until Algernon suddenly deteriorates. Will the same happen to Charlie?
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so very interesting premise and very, very popular and successful book. This is taught in a lot of high schools. I think they've probably changed it now, but for many years it was taught in high school or elementary schools even. Okay, let's get going. I highly recommend this book, by the way. Okay, let's get going. Um, Annabelle, would you like to read this one?
Daniel Keyes was an American writer best known for his groundbreaking novel Flowers for Algernon, 1966, which explored themes of intelligence, human emotion, and ethics in scientific experimentation. Born in Brooklyn, New York on August 9th, 1927, Keyes initially pursued a career in medicine before shifting to literature. He earned a degree in psychology from Brooklyn College and later works as an editor, teacher, and writer. Keyes first published Flowers for Algernon as a short story in 1959, which won the Hugo Award for Best Short Story. He later expanded it into a novel which won the Nebula Award and became a widely studied classic. His writing often focuses on the complexity of human cognition and identity. Beyond Flowers for Algernon, Keyes also wrote The Minds of Billy Milligan, a nonfiction book about a man with multiple personality disorder. He continued teaching creative writing at Ohio University for many years. Keyes passed away on June 15th, 2014, but his work remained influential, particularly in discussions of ethics in science and the treatment of individuals with intellectual disabilities.
Awesome. Thank you for reading that. Yeah. Uh, as far as books go, I will say Flash for Algernon is probably, or he's definitely his most famous book, and I don't think he had too much success afterwards. Like, I guess there's The Minds of Billy Milligan, but I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of this book before. So, um, so yeah, maybe it's one of those really those one hit wonder type situations. Um, but yeah, let's keep going. So the quote of the day is quite interesting in my opinion. Intelligence and education hasn't been tempered by, intelligence and education that hasn't been tempered by human affection isn't worth a damn. I want you all to explain this quote and give an example. And I really want you're gonna have to think about this one, right? This one will take a little, this might require a little bit of time to think about. But anyways, I'm still only going to give you 4 minutes. Starting the timer now. Oh, Jeffrey, hands up.
What does bro mean by tempered down?
Tempered. Okay. Tempered. This was one of our words before. But tempered basically means to soften, let's say. Or maybe I would say controlled a bit, not really. That's totally fine, Animal. All right, all right, all right. Time is up. Let's see what you guys came up with. So far I only have one response. Okay, well, I have two responses. One is Jeffrey saying, I think this quote means that with our human emotion and empathy, education is pointless. Which is one said, actually, I thought it was going to be a joke response, but that's actually a legitimate response. So I will add that in. Okay, Ryan, would you like to start us off?
I think this quote means that intelligence. Wait, there isn't supposed to be a dot. And education itself isn't worth anything. It's the kindness and respect to use your intelligence that counts. It's the kindness that helps other people grow and succeed that counts.
Okay, it's the kindness and respect to use your intelligence that counts. It's the kindness to use your intelligence that counts. Okay, so grammatically this is fine. Logically, this isn't quite clear as to what it means. So yeah, it's the kindness. You don't necessarily need kindness and respect to use your intelligence, which is why this sentence logically has problems. If you said the kindness and respect in which yes, in which you use your intelligence that counts, then maybe. So it's like in using your intelligence, you are also using kindness and respect, or you're pairing it with kindness and respect. Then it counts. So that has to be clear there. Grammatically, it's fine. And it's the kindness that helps other people grow and succeed that counts. And this one's here. Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Let's see what we're working with. So we have Russell and Xiaoya and Annabelle. Okay. Okay, Russell, start us off. Well, not start us off, but continue.
I think this quote is trying to convey that without any human emotions or feelings, intelligence is pointless because you don't know how to use that newfound knowledge to make the world a better place. Without an inclination and someone's peace of mind, knowledge doesn't mean a damn.
Awesome. So, I think this question don't know. Because you don't know how to use the newfound knowledge without an inclination and someone's peace of mind, knowledge doesn't mean a damn. So I just, without an inclination and someone's peace of mind, what do you mean by inclination?
Like an opinion.
Ah, okay. So, and someone's peace of mind. Okay, I would just say this part is not as clear. And also, I think this could be its own sentence, like with the period. It's just that they're not so closely connected, in my opinion, to require a semicolon. I think it would be just better off to completely separate sentences. Besides that, great first sentence. And great use of the hyphen over here. Okay. Xiaoya.
I don't know. I don't even know what this quote meant. Can you read it?
No, you have to read it.
No, but I don't even. I'm gonna be so embarrassed.
Oh, don't be embarrassed. This class is literally, I mean, you guys aren't getting graded. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. But okay, fine. I don't want to force you. This quote is telling us that only humans should teach people because it wouldn't help us if it was taught by someone else. For example, you would much rather have a human tutor than a tutor that's a bear, right? This is my interpretation of the quote. I really tried. I don't know what this quote is telling us, not gonna lie. No, I'd rather you try, I'd rather you actually try, especially if you have no idea, because then we're able to see sort of like sort of what led you to believe that, or what led you down that thought process, which is important because then we can maybe discuss what part of this quote or what part of whatever led you to think a certain way, and maybe why is it incorrect, or maybe why is it still valid or whatnot, right? So it's important. It's important that we all make really big mistakes in this class. This one is fine. So I see what you're saying here, right? Intelligence and education without human affection isn't worth a damn. So you're saying, like, education needs the human touch. So you sort of honed in on that. So and firstly, that is true. Education does sort of need a human touch. There's a lot required to learn things, and having that back and forth with a teacher or human interaction is valuable. But there's more to the quote, basically, right? And some of the people here touched on this, and we'll talk about it a bit more in a bit, but yeah. Also, this would require a comma right here. Okay. I love the attempt. I love the attempt, Jaya, and I think this part is totally fine. It just doesn't capture the whole quote, but it does capture definitely human affection and education. Okay, Annabelle, would you like to give it a try?
This quote means that without human emotion, intelligence and education is useless. Kindness is more important than knowledge because without emotions, you wouldn't know how to help others with your intelligence, and you forgot the period.
I forgot the period, or did you forget the period? I
I
forgot the period. It was me. All right. Good stuff, Annabelle. This coming said, kindness is more important than knowledge because without emotion, you wouldn't know how to help others with your intelligence. So, okay, what I would say is, I don't necessarily think the quote indicated that kindness is more important, but the second part, definitely. I think it definitely did. It did say this very clearly. Good stuff. Very good stuff, Annabelle. You don't. So, okay. The good thing here is I do like starting the sentence with basically sort of reiterating or rephrasing the main idea of the quote. I just think that this one is a little bit too close to the actually no, because it said tempered and isn't worth a damn. This rephrasing is still fine. Never mind. Sorry, my bad, Annabelle. This is great. Good stuff. Okay, James, would you like to read yours?
Okay, I think that intelligence and education that isn't softened by human affection is when an extremely nerdy kid answers a question while thinking that everybody else isn't as good as them. Without emotions, intelligence isn't valuable at all and should be instead used with emotions.
Without emotions, intelligence isn't valuable at all. So actually, this second part is more confusing than anything. I think we just get rid of it and put a period there, and this is great. I think intelligence that isn't softened by human affection is when. Okay. So I think this year needs a separation. So this is a case where you can't really just explain the quote with the example alone. I think you need to sort of you need to give the main idea again and then give the example. Also, I would say when isn't so I would say this isn't the greatest example. The reason being is you have to really hone in on what you're trying to prove with your example or what you're trying to convey with your example. This is conveying that intelligence and education is not useful without human affection. So the purpose of a teacher asking a kid a question, you have to then call what is the purpose of doing that, and did the kid still do that, etc. So that wouldn't be the best example. What I would consider a good example of this to explain this quote would be something like researchers. The researchers or chemists who study new ways to who have so much intelligence and find new ways to make more money selling um, sugary snacks or new, I don't know, drugs to make you stronger, when instead they could be finding drugs to cure diseases and things like that, or people who are, engineers who are super, super smart, but instead of, helping progress the world, they they work at social media places and make the like button more vibrant, right? So maybe it's not that it's not useful, but it's not the most useful, I guess. So things like that would be good examples, in my opinion. Okay, vocab of the day. So 3 minutes, starting the timer now.
Can you put the words in the chat?
Yep.
Can we not make a paragraph?
Yeah, you can make one sentence.
Wait, so we can do both?
Sure, you could do either
Yeah.
or. All right. Time is up. Let's see what we came up with. Give you guys a couple more minutes. Okay, Russell, start us off.
Bob's ineptitude, combined with his melancholy, ultimately caused the inevitable and impassioned resignation from George's skeptical company.
Oh, I just realized I was muted. Ultimately caused the inevitable and impassioned resignation from George's skeptical company. Okay, awesome. I still don't understand why these are all capitalized, but that's fine. Great stuff. Great stuff. Ryan, would you like to read yours?
His ineptitude of his work ended with him becoming skeptical and melancholy as he was forced to resign and was impassioned deeply.
Melancholy. Okay, so you can't become melancholy. Melancholy is a thing. It's a feeling. So you can reach a state of melancholy. You can have melancholy, but you cannot become melancholy. It is a weird word for sure. His ineptitude. So the ineptitude of his work ended with him becoming skeptical and let's say hmm, drowning in melancholy. Became skeptical, drowning in skeptical. It was impassioned deeply. As he was impassioned. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, good stuff, right. Annabelle, would you like to read yours?
Despite his impassioned efforts, Timmy felt skeptical about the project because his ineptitude at math made him feel a sense of melancholy and resignation, like he would never get it right.
Awesome. Dude. Math made him feel a sense of melancholy and resignation. Okay, awesome. James, would you like to read yours?
Jimmy's ineptitude created a terrible accident, filling the area with a sense of melancholy and impassion. It also made people skeptical, causing Jimmy to resign from his simple job.
Terrible accident, filling the area with a sense of melancholy and impassion. So we need a period here. It also made people skeptical, causing Jimmy to resign. Awesome. Johnny felt a sense of impassioned melancholy. Okay, awesome. Great stuff, James. All right, Jaya, would you like to read yours?
Johnny felt a sense of passionate melancholy rush through him when he found out that he was fired by the manager because of his ineptitude personality. But he still found the situation skeptical because the manager said that if he had to fire him, it would be with great resignation.
Awesome. So, only thing is, you already have a fanboy here, so you just need to put a comma to separate the independent clause and then get rid of the semicolon. Semicolons cannot go pretty much just, we don't need to go into the special cases. Just think of it this way, semicolons cannot go before any of the coordinating conjunctions, so any fanboys. All right, and that way you will avoid any confusion regarding that case in semicolon. Okay, awesome, great stuff, Jaya. So let's continue. We have some time, but you know what? Maybe we can actually go over some longer form responses today. So, oh wait, we have Jeffrey's response still.
It might not be completely grammatically correct because I was too busy thinking about hating on Trudeau.
Trudeau is not even the Prime Minister of Canada anymore.
It's
Why?
okay. I still like hating on him.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Jeffrey, go for it.
Although some Canadians feel melancholy about Trudeau's resignation, I am an impassioned hater of him. When his people needed him the most to fight America, he skeptically resigned. Even before Trump made Canada the 51st, it should be 51st state, Trudeau's ineptitude failed him. He dragged prices up while installing a useless carbon tax on Canadians. Don't like Trudeau, people.
He drove prices up while instating a useless carbon tax on Canadians. He skeptically resigned. So skeptical, so if he skeptically resigned, that means he was doubtful about his resignation or regarding his resignation. So
Yeah, he was crying.
But that's not what skeptical means there. You could say he reluctantly resigned, right? Or he felt great melancholy when he resigned.
He
But
was impassioned when he resigned.
yes, he
I don't think he did though.
so impassioned, it should usually be used with something to say it was done with emotion. So his impassioned resignation or his resignation was well, that would be filled with passion. But yeah, you could say he had an impassioned resignation or something like that. I'm curious, just out of curiosity, how many of you guys, well, because everyone seems to know so much about Trudeau, do people here like know people in Canada or lived in Canada or something? No? Okay, let's continue. I've never. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's get to the article of the day. Let's get Ryan. Wait, you can read the first line, but let me read the title. The title is "The Extremely Offline Joy of the Board Game Club." Hungry for in-person interaction, Gen Z and millennial players are joining old-fashioned chess, mahjong, backgammon groups. Backgammon. Who here plays mahjong?
So I'm Chinese, and every single Thanksgiving when my sister meets her friends, they like just start playing like 30 rounds of mahjong.
Anybody else? What is mahjong?
I've seen like my uncles and my great grandfathers playing mahjong, and like they're like really expensive tiles and stuff.
Mahjong is
Yeah.
the one. It's the one where some people have like those boards that like
Yeah.
go into
Yeah, it's
the.
Chinese.
It's
Yeah,
a gambling game.
it's a gambling game.
It's
I
like
did.
Chinese gambling. You know,
I-
like blackjack and stuff like that. It's basically blackjack but Chinese.
I didn't know. I didn't know Mahjong was a gambling game, but that makes a lot of sense as well.
It is because you have like little like token thingy majiggies, and then they happen.
Oh, okay.
The mahjong tiles are like basically like money.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like in poker where they're like the little like tokens, they have the
Yeah.
same thing.
And
Poker
then like
chips.
my relatives get really excited, like they're like, "Ha, take that. I have 5 mahjong tiles, you only have 3." And then like and then like and then they take all of the tiles they give all the tiles to someone. I don't really understand it.
Yeah. What about backgammon? Who here plays backgammon or has played backgammon?
Not me, but I kind of know how mahjong works. So
Interesting.
basically, you have like some square, not has some rectangle like thingy majiggies, and they're
Oh,
like
wait. Just Shaya, sorry, I'm going to cut you off. You could definitely include that in the chat. But I'm going to cut you off so we can continue. But yeah, I definitely need to look up how to play Mahjong later because it seems very interesting. Okay, so let's get started. Ryan, I said I wanted you to read first. Can you read this one?
When Michelle Kong started a chess club last year, hoping to meet other players in their 20s, attendance was so meager that she needed only one chessboard. She posted about the club on social media until a tattooed cross-section of young people in Los Angeles began showing up to exchange pawns and phone numbers. Before long, boxes of triple-weighted bishops and rooks were piling up in the backseat of Mrs. Kong's sedan. Last December, she upgraded the club's home base from a cozy jazz bar to a warehouse that was barely large enough to accommodate the 500 people who attended the Thursday night meetings of the group. LA Chess Club this summer. It kind of blew up, said Miss Kong, 27, who is in urgent need of a place to store 200 chessboards. Staring down an epidemic of loneliness, people in their 20s and 30s are gathering to play chess, backgammon, and mahjong in hopes that old-fashioned game clubs may help ease the isolation and digital overload that weigh heavily on their generation. Many have already been experimenting with more physical alternatives to doom scrolling like pickleball and running clubs, but organizers like Miss Kong say that the kind of board games stored in their grandparents' attics are hot among Gen Zers and millennials hungry for less athletic modes of socialization. A running club sounds like absolute torture to me, said Victoria Newton, 35, who has been hosting Nightcap Chess Club events in Austin, Texas since July. I've found that it's easier to connect with someone when I'm not trying to catch my breath or covered in sweat.
Awesome, awesome. So you guys are probably too young to understand the whole running club thing, but people in their 20s, like I have a lot of friends who
Friday
started
night bingo.
there's Friday night bingo, yeah. I have friends who's joined run clubs. This is a thing that is so random to me because I hate running, and a lot of my friends who never really were into sports started joining these clubs. And so I guess everyone's just trying to find ways to socialize, new ways. So yeah, chessboards, chess became really popular recently, right? Like last year or the year before. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of cool things. Who here played? Okay, also I need the chat to go back to English. So no more
I
Chinese
was
messages.
protesting for that. I said make the chat English again.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. You are a true socialist.
I'm not even a socialist. I voted for Trump.
I know, I'm kidding. I know. I just joke because I know you don't like to be called that. Okay, so let's continue. Can I get James? James, can you read this one?
Board game sales in the United States surged more than 30% from 2019. I don't know how to say it. Fueled by COVID-19 pandemic, said Julie Lennon, a toy industry advisor for Circana, a market research firm. Stuck at home, starved for social interaction, many Americans were able to rediscover the love of gameplay, she said. The habit appears to have made it out of lockdown. The number of board games event organized using the invitation service particle quadrupled in the past year, the company said. The number of groups related to board games on Meetup increased roughly 10% per year from 2021 to 2023. Espresso martinis in hand, this wave of players seem eager to dispel the nerdy, stuffy, or ultra competitive reputations of game club past. George Roger Surdy attracts players to his free rum makeup meetups in Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, though a colorful Instagram page where he posts memes about the title game involving Charlie XCX and Paris Hilton. The monthly club has drawn over around 80 people to each meeting since Mr. Roger started it in July, after having learned a game from a friend and a mother during the early months of the pandemic. From what I hear, it's something you used to play with your grandma, Mr. Roger said. I wanted to make sure this game is kind of hot and relevant.
Okay, awesome. Who here has learned how to play like an old card game? Like who here knows how to play poker?
Me.
You know how to play
I've
poker?
tried to learn and I always end up losing. I remember I tried to gamble with like my sister and her friends, and I ended up with like negative $1,080. No, but like it was like imaginary money. And then me and my sister both didn't know how to play, but my sister still beat me. And then she was at like negative 500. Now I was at negative like 2,000.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay.
And then the loser had the gritty. And like, so we were gonna go to like a party afterwards, and the loser had the gritty to the front door.
That's funny. Okay, can I get Jeffrey, can you read this one?
What if I said no?
I would have arrested you.
Dang, bruh. Back to basics. Young people are only several hundred years late to the board game boom. Tabletop games are about as old as civilization itself, said Zachary Horton, an associate professor at the University of Pittsburgh who studies games. But they may be especially attractive to a generation that is fully saturated by digital media, he said, and living in a, a, a I have no idea how to pronounce that word.
Sorry, I lost as to where we are. Acrimonious.
Acrimonious political era in which it can feel like different groups are playing by their own rules. The analog game stubbornly insists on its own presence, Professor Horton said. Formal clubs devoted to board games gained steam in the United States in the 19th century when wealthy men could meet for competitive play at the Mechanics Institute Chess Club in San Francisco and Manhattan Chess Club in New York. As different game styles became more popular, gatherings shifted too. Professor Horton said role-playing games of the 1970s gave rise to Dungeons of Dragons groups, and board game cafes and bars proliferated in the early 2000s, catering to players to elaborate strategy games like Catan. But with more games to choose from than ever before, including video games, many young people are drawn to the classics. Among Gen Z, Professor Horton said, it couldn't be a cleaner or stronger movement towards analog play. Remington Davenport thinks that a sense of nostalgia is part of the draw of NYU Backgammon Club, the group she she started last year for young people to play a 5,000-year-old game, made attendees learn from parents and grandparents. Miss Davenport, 35, said that she felt out of place and existing backgammon events that she had been able to find in New York. That was a mouthful. I hope that guy's name is Tim Hortons.
Um, who here plays things like Dungeons and Dragons? Anybody?
Isn't it like the game where like you write a ton of stuff down or something?
I think you do have to write a little bit down, but it's
How do you
it's like
play it?
it's like a role-playing game. So it's sort of the whole thing is sort of imaginary. One person's running the game, and uh, everything you do is imaginary, and outcomes are based on the person who's running the game. I've never played it myself, but it is very cool. And when I was young, like board games used to be when I was young, board games used to be like something that was lame. Like, oh, why are you playing board games? Go play some sports, whatever, right? But now there's a resurgence of board games and uh things like that where it's cool. Chess is cool now, right? Everyone's playing chess. So it's very interesting how that happens. Okay, can we get James? Can you read this one? Or James, did you already read one of these slides?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Can I get Xiaoya? Can you read this one?
I was really disappointed with the lack of women at these events and the lack of people in the 20s and 30s, she said. More than 3,500 people in all have come to frequent meetups that NYC Backgammon Club holds at restaurants in Brooklyn and Manhattan. Miss Davenport said, admission is about $10 per event. In April, she left her job in sales to focus on backgammon full-time. Other board game groups aim to help young people connect to the history of those who played before them. Green Tile Social Club in New York and Mahjong Mistress in Los Angeles are aiming to help the next generation learn to play Mahjong. It's a tile game that is believed to have originated in China in the 19th century, but has long been played throughout Asia. Mahjong Mistress, made up of Angie Lin, 33, Abby Wu, 27, Susan, what is that last name? Kunlava
No idea.
Huh?
You can just skip it.
Yeah, whatever. Susan something. Susan Kangaroo, whatever. 38, and Zoe Blue, 30. Holds meetups every couple of months that cost 15 to 25 and often draw hundreds of people. The hosts organize Lunar New Year parties and Mahjong matchmaking nights where enthusiasts can flirt while discussing the specifics of what is this? Richie versus Taiwanese Mahjong. People are looking for wholesome activities, Miss Lin said, pointing to data that Gen Z is consuming less alcohol than older generations. Well, mostly wholesome. Our first single nights, we had 2 people making out at the end of it. People are dancing here. On a drizzly Tuesday evening in December, a line of creative types huddle under umbrellas on Canal Street in Manhattan. They were waiting to climb 5 flights of stairs to the apartment where the chess club was underway.
Awesome. Okay. Let's get Derek. Can you read this one? Derek, are you there? Okay. Let's get Russell. Can you read this one?
Paradoxically, several of the city's liveliest game groups are dedicated to perhaps the fustiest game of all, chess. Its popularity has spiked among adolescents in recent years, fueled by a combination of the pandemic, the 2020 Netflix miniseries The Queen's Gambit, and a campaign to start young people by Chess.com, an app and website for online chess. The game's status was reinforced by Sally Rooney, 33, one of her generation's buzziest authors, released the chess-forward novel Intermezzo in September. There seems to be a chess club for practically every scene in New York City, where players have long frequented the Marshall Club in Greenwich Village or the open-air tables in Washington Square Park. Now they might try Queer's Gambit, which describes itself on social media as the queeriest anti-imperialist chess club on earth, or Club Chess, which has hosted chess nights at Labaine and New York Fashion Week parties with Mason Margiela. A.L. Bada, 30, an artist and musician, and Corinne Ciani, 28, a writer and event producer, had nightlife in mind when they started Club Chess last year. There's a lot of traditional chess clubs in New York, and that's sort of not the angle we've ever went in, Miss Ciani said. We've had people play chess in front of DJ booths, like on the floor, and we've had to be like, sorry, people are dancing here. This particular line was for Pawn Chess Club, a beginner-friendly group that cycles through wine bars and restaurants in Lower Manhattan. Its founders, Isabel Muenter. What do the two dots mean?
I don't know exactly what it does, but yes, it makes the sound of like a moonter.
Isabel Muenter, 32, and Simone, or is it Simon? Simon Robert, 29. Co-workers at a design studio bustled around the candlelit apartment where guests crowded around two long tables of chessboards and sipped sake from boxes with straws.
Awesome. And this is sake. Okay. Who's next? Let's go back to the top. Ryan.
People are just so eager to meet other people. Miss Munter said, there's something very nice about a chessboard, where you can sit in total silence with a stranger across from you because you're focusing, or it can be a totally chatty game. Their groups Pay What You Want events have been held every 2 or 3 weeks since the spring of 2023 and regularly draw more than 100 guests. An unscientific poll of attendees yielded wide-ranging seasons for attendance. Some were there to play chess, others to watch. A few were on dates. Several wanted a night out that would not leave them exhausted or hungover. Lingson Chai, 29, an exhibition designer at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, said he had loathed chess when his father had encouraged him to learn the game as a child, but he was surprised by how much he enjoyed playing in the relaxed environment of the chess club. I'm trying to make it part of my life again, which is a very full circle, he said. When I told my dad I was going to a chess club, he outright laughed. He returned to the room where a throng of people were watching Anya Biggs, a chess tutor and member of several of the city's chess clubs, advance her night. When it looked as if the game might be reaching its conclusion, a man turned to the stranger standing on either side of him. Anyone want to play? He asked.
Awesome. So thank you all for reading that. Who here has learned how to play chess in the last year?
Not in the last year.
Oh, who here has learned how to play chess in the last 2 years?
Me. I like started to get into it.
I've been
Okay.
playing chess for like 5 years.
Wait, what's your like elo? What's your chess elo?
I quit like a year ago actually because I just don't like the game anymore.
Wait, so what was your chess elo like before?
I don't even remember. It's been so long. But I used to be pretty good at the game. I beat one of my teachers.
Oh, wow.
All right. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to answer this first one. So this first question, pretty much you can answer however you want, really. I just want to know generally about your favorite game. Your favorite games. Okay. So 5 minutes starting now. It could be sport. Any game. You could even answer both, say sport and a board game.
How long should it be?
However much you want. All right, all right, all right. Time's up. Let's see what we came up with. All right, Ryan, do you want to start us off?
My favorite games are swimming and chess. I really love the competition in both, and I like to play someone better than me so I can learn.
Awesome. My favorite games are swimming and chess. Swimming is it considered a game? I'm gonna call that into question. I don't think swimming is a game unless you say like games that involve swimming. I really love the competition in both, and comma, I like to play someone better than me, so I can learn. Now, if you get rid of the subject, like if you get rid of the I, then you can just put and with no comma. But because you included the subject again, this is a full sentence, you need a comma and a subordinating conjunction or coordinating conjunction. Okay. We have Russell. Would you like to go next?
My favorite sport is tennis because I get to make my opponent run, and right when they think they're back in the game, I'll just finish them off.
Okay, so you get a cool rush out of tennis. That's interesting. Also heard that racket sports increase your lifespan, or not increase, but it keeps you healthy, very
What
healthy.
are racket sports?
Racket,
Sports where you are in a rocket and race each
no,
other.
racket sports.
Rocket League?
Racket, like a tennis racket.
Oh, racket sports.
Yeah.
I thought you said Rocket League.
No, no, not Rocket League. Okay, Xiaoyo, would you like to read yours?
My favorite games to play are Scrabble, tennis, and video games. It's really fun because you get to hang out and socialize with people while having a great time. Also, can I go use the bathroom?
Yes, go ahead. Awesome. And video games. It's really fun because you get to hang out, socialize with people while having a great time. So, okay, this is very general and it's not exactly like video games can be solitary as well. So you just need to be clear if you're going to say something like that. All right, Jeffrey, would you like to read yours?
My favorite game is called Politics. My favorite part is getting to see 70-year-olds argue about who's better at golf.
That's not a game. Um, or I don't know if it can be a game.
The second sentence is correct. The first sentence isn't.
Yes.
Second
Now,
sentence.
okay, I guess I wasn't clear, but when I said your favorite game, I implied games that you participate or play, not just that you enjoy
I
watch.
participate in politics.
How? When you vote?
You vote.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mom votes for me.
Yeah.
So
Okay, fair
I
enough. Fair
vote.
enough. Yes, okay, fair enough. But it's still not a game then. It's just civil duties, right? Um, okay. So, let's go to James. James, would you like to read yours?
Okay. I like playing golf and I find golf relaxing and difficult. Golf is an extremely difficult game, but I still like to play every day. There's a great and wonderful feeling when you hit a high and far shot using a difficult club. It enlightens the entire experience when hitting a great shot over and over again. I personally like to play golf by myself because none of my friends play golf and I like being by myself when playing.
Okay, awesome. I like to play golf and I find it relaxing. Difficult golf is an extremely difficult game, but I still like to play every day. Okay, so this is sort of just reiterating the main points. I like playing golf. I find it relaxing and difficult. Then you say it's still difficult. Again, so I would say get rid of this sentence or just include the part that you say you play every day. Is that true? Do you actually play golf every day?
Yes, but not today because of, this lesson.
I'm so sorry. I've taken you away from golf. Um, but that's pretty cool. Wow. You get to play golf every day. Golf, I got into golf recently. It's what I like about it is that it forces you to get fresh air and walk around, which is healthy. So yeah.
I
It,
did
and
like
like
a golf camp for like a couple weeks. It was like really fun. I feel like it's more of like a social thing because you just walk around and like
yeah,
go to your
that is I totally agree that it is way more social than I thought it was. It's pretty much just like going to the park with your friends and then while you're walking around, hit this ball. That's all it is. Okay. Uh, and hitting a great shot over and over again. I personally like to play golf by myself because none of my friends play golf, and I like being by myself while playing. Awesome, awesome, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, actually, before we move on, can anyone explain why you don't need a period here? He reiterated the subject, or sorry, a comma. He reiterated the subject, and he has a coordinating conjunction here. Why is why is there no comma needed here? Any volunteers?
because okay, I think I know why.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit wait. Never mind.
That's okay. Anybody else? Anyone want to take a chance? Russell,
Yeah.
do you have an idea why there's no comma needed?
Because Trump says, um, hmm. Personally, because none of my friends and I think it's a trick question. You do need a comma.
No, you don't need a comma.
No,
Good try.
you're mean.
Xiaoya, again?
Maybe because if you put a comma before and then that means like it's like a non-essential clause, but it is, right?
So not quite. Good try.
Oh.
So this one is not saying
I feel like
this,
it's a subordinating clause. That's what you usually say, but I never know what it means.
okay. So the main point of the sentence is I personally like to play golf by myself. Okay? This is the main point he's trying to make. Subordinating clause. Why? Because, right? Because none of my friends play golf. Item number 1. And I like to play golf. I like being by myself while playing. Point 2. But this is all points of the because. So the main sentence is right here. I personally like to play golf by myself. Because of item number 1, none of my friends play golf, and I like to I like being by myself while playing. Point 2. So this is what I call a list of 2 items, and in that situation, you do not need a comma, right? Okay. Now let's do one more. Okay, why do you think games have been popular throughout history? What would your life be like without them? Are there any skills or lessons you have learned from playing games? So, okay, in this case, I'll say games that not including sports, okay? So games like any sort of game that is not a sport. Okay, so swimming is a sport. Let's say that. So we can't call it a game. All right. I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes starting now. All right. Time's up. Let's see what we came up with. Okay, we have big responses. Okay. Jeffrey, would you like to read yours?
I think it is popular because talking to other people is boring. I learned stealing, arson, murder, assault, and defamation from Minecraft and Roblox.
Okay. I have nothing to say about that, so let's continue. Ryan, would you like to read yours?
Chess has been popular throughout history. It was invented in the 6th century, and my life will be a lot more boring without chess, as I will have one less thing to do in my free time. I learned to think logically from chess.
Nice. Very good. Learn to think logically from chess. Good. Chess has been popular throughout history. This is a full sentence. It was invented in the 6th century and will be a lot. Okay, and this is a full sentence, so a comma here is needed. Okay, good stuff, Ryan. Russell, would you like to read yours?
I think that board games have been popular throughout history to provide a place for people to hang out. Well, not a place, but like a thing to do at a place to hang out and socialize and potentially become competitive. My life would stay the exact same without board games. Maybe except for chess. It made me think logically too.
Okay, interesting.
And I have learned not to gamble.
And chess taught you not to gamble?
No, like some random gambling game I forgot the name of.
Oh, okay, nice.
You forgot to my adding on to my response.
Yes, never gamble. I used to work at a company that made slot machines. And I worked in the software side. And you always lose. Even if you win once or twice, if you continue playing, you will always lose. You are expected to like all these casinos and stuff exist because you lose. All these gambling, online sports gambling stuff exists because you will always lose. So keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, good stuff, good stuff. Let's make another slide. Okay, James, would you like to read yours?
I think that that games have been popular throughout history because it can be extremely fun thing to do. Playing game can also cure people from the terrible illness of being bored while also wasting time. Playing games can also allow people to socialize about useless things, and many people's lives would be sad and miserable without games. I think that skills are obtained from playing games, although I think that you can't learn many lessons from games.
Awesome. I think the skills are obtained from playing games, although I think you can't learn many lessons from games. Okay, I think that skills are obtained. I think that skills are obtained from playing games, but okay, so this is confusing. And a very easy way to the reason it's confusing is skills and lessons are oftentimes used hand in hand in a sentence like this, right? You can learn skills and lessons, or learning a skill is learning a lesson. But so when you put them next to each other in a similar structure, it is confusing what you're talking about. What you should do here, the best way to do this, in my opinion, is get rid of that. Say, I think that skills are obtained from playing games. But very clear, but lessons are uncommon in games, or lessons skills are obtained from games, but lessons are not, or rarely obtained, right? Or etc. Okay, because that is what you're saying here. So there should be a clear contrast. I think that games have been popular while also wasting time. Maybe people games. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Great stuff, James. And last but not least, Xiaoya.
The games have been really popular through history because it's a way to socialize with people while having fun. It's a way to connect with people and maybe get a laugh out as well. If we didn't have games, our life would be very bland and boring. This is because there'd be nothing to do and you can never have fun. This is why games are really important. They're also important because it can teach you many skills and lessons while playing it. For example, Scrabble has taught me to never lose hope too fast because there's always a possibility that someone will place down the letter you need and cause you to get a really good word.
Awesome. Because it's a way to socialize people while having fun. It's a way to connect people. So games are important. They're also important because okay, so I would say this sentence is not necessary just because everything is a description of why they're popular, and then if you just by saying they are also important because it's already implying that popular and important are go hand in hand here. So it's just redundant in my opinion. Important because it can teach you skills and lessons. Like, for example, Scrabble taught me to never lose hope too fast. Subordinating clause, you don't need a comma there because there is always a possibility that someone will place down the letter you need and cause you to get a really good word. That's awesome. That's actually very, very good. I would say very good example as well. Because yeah, a lot of good games, anything can happen up until the very end, very last moment, right? So it's important to not lose hope and to keep going. So great stuff, Xiaoya. Great example as well. Okay. Homework question is pretty much same question we talked about today. What's your favorite games? What do you play? Why? And then there is also homework vocab based on our vocab words. So, that is all for today, guys. I will see you all next week. Have a good one.
Bye,
Okay?
thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Enjoy being a dictator.
I
Bye.
am enjoying it. Bye.